Hello everyone, and welcome back to Killer Shrew Fans Killer Toy Reviews. Now, if you're like me, and I know that I am, you are starting to sort of go a little bit crazy being cooped up inside all day. But fear not, your friend Killer Shrew Fan is here to ease some of that boredom with some dinosaur model goodness. And today we will be taking a look at this, the brand spanking new Edmontosaurus from Mattel as part of their Primal attack line. This is one of the few figures that I was genuinely excited for that Mattel kind of teased for their initial wave of the Primal attack dinosaurs. Of course, it was the one that was not released first, so I had to wait for it, but I'm glad that I now finally got this. I just got this in from Entertainment Earth. Amazon has also been stocking them, although I think Amazon might not stock them for a while because they're focusing on essentials at this point, so anything they don't have in stock, I don't think they're going to get in stock anytime soon. But I also do want to note that these have started showing up in most Walmarts across the nation. I am not recommending that you go out and get one, maybe wait for this to blow over. I just want to let you know these will be available sometime soon. But with all that out of the way, I do want to say I do have some issues with this figure, and they're probably issues that you have all heard about before, but we'll get into that later. For now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that packaging. So taking a look at the packaging, you've seen it before and we've talked about it. If you've seen my Sarcosuchus review, you know this isn't my favorite box art that Mattel has done, but it is still distinctly Jurassic in style, and I think it looks good, especially with this Edmontosaurus. The contrast between the colors really pops. I love the jungle aesthetic, the sunsets, the paddock, all that stuff looks great. And in the top left corner, you've got the Jurassic World logo, as well as the Primal Attack brand and an indicator to show if you twist the tail, you get a sound attack. I'm sorry, I apologize for the glare. I'm trying to keep focused here, and that keeps letting more light in. But there you can see the sound indicator above the head of the Edmontosaurus. The bottom left corner features a diagram of the action attack feature here. And then you got a Sound Strike Endmontosaurus title running across the bottom. And of course, Owen and Blue in the bottom right corner. Owen making that dead, glazed over eye contact with you as you display your dinosaurs in the box. Getting real tired of that, but I think he's here to stay, so we better just get used to it. Anywho, back of the box features a diagram showcasing both types of the action gimmick with this Edmontosaurus. You twist the tail to get a head twisting action, and you lift it up and down to get a ramming action for the double head strike, the dreaded Edmontosaurus double head strike. And then in the bottom left corner, you can see the other dinosaurs available in this wave of the Sound Strikes. You've got the Cryolophosaurus coming back, as well as the Triceratops. The Triceratops, like Chris Pratt, is here to stay with the Jurassic brand. Get used to it. And then, of course, in the top left corner, we are reminded to get the Jurassic World Facts app so that we can scan a digital copy of our dinosaurs into our phones and learn all sorts of facts. Alright, enough about the box. I say it is time we break this asset out of containment. So give me a second and we'll get this dinosaur loose. And here is the Edmontosaurus free from that cardboard prison, and I am very excited to give you guys a closer look at this model. So let's do this! Taking a look at the head of this Edmontosaurus, as you can see, this is a very shrink-wrapped dinosaur, but it is nice to see that Mattel went and included that crest, that recently discovered crest of the Edmontosaurus with this sculpture. The eye is done in a vibrant yellow color, same as the crest, and has a black pupil and is seated quite nicely and deeply into that orbital lobe. Going down the length of the body, unfortunately, as far as detail goes, this is not one of the crisper sculpts from Mattel. The detailing is very basic, just kind of cross-hatch, leathery skin texture, not nearly as crisp as offerings such as, say, the Triceratops or Pachyrhinosaurus, or even the Parasaurolophus. It's just kind of generic texturing going all the way down to the tip of the tail. There are some nice moments of sculptural detail, like the wrinkles around the legs and kind of the layered swelling of the gut and the musculature in the shoulder. Like, all the musculature is very nice. It's just saddled with very basic sculptural detail that doesn't really pop. It feels very glossed over, like in the molding process. It just did not come out entirely there. And of course, we gotta talk about the foot situation on this Edmontosaurus. You've seen it before. This Edmontosaurus has 4-toed feet, and that is a 4-toed fiasco in a lot of people's books. For me, it doesn't kill it for me. Sure, it's a bizarre choice, but, you know, I mean, it's not as bad to me as the paint slop on those nails. It doesn't bother me as much as that. But of course, if you just turn this thing away to face the wall, you don't see the 4th toe, and if you really want to see it, you can just pretend that it comes from a 4-toed frog DNA. This is Jurassic, after all. The musculature in the legs and arms looks pretty darn good and powerful, I will say that. Mattel does a great job of giving their sculptures good anatomy, and I applaud them for that. Like, all the base sculpt work is there, I just think this one's a little bit weaker in terms of the finer detail. Taking a look at the underbelly, you can see the honeycombed speaker. Oh, that makes me itchy. And then the back right foot features the logo and of course the QR code. So if you want to scan this dinosaur into your Jurassic Facts app, now is the time to do so. You got a nice clean look at it. Alright, let's talk pose, proportions, all that stuff, paint. As far as the proportions go, I will say I love that they made this Edmontosaurus fat. It's a very hefty looking dinosaur and I appreciate that. The pose, very basic, kind of taking a half stride forward, very neutral. And as far as proportions go, very nicely handled. No too big feet here. The tail, good length. Head might be a little bit big, but I can forgive that. It's nothing is egregiously done with proportions in the case of this Edmontosaurus. Paint scheme. A lot of people aren't big fans of the paint scheme. I like it. I think they did a good job of giving us enough visual information to pass this off as a canonic Jurassic World Edmontosaurus. It looks like the website art. Like, obviously not as detailed or anything, but the colors are there to pass it off as such. I will say the blue on the face is a bit aggressive. I wish they had done something more with airbrushing in that case and maybe muted it just a little bit. It's kind of distracting, but by and large, I dig the paint scheme on this Edmontosaurus. Now for the posing, he's probably going to make some sound, so bear with me as we do this. But yeah, you can see the arms go forward and out to get that sort of crucified position. And then the legs go forward and back, so you can kind of have him laying down in a dead splayed position. And they have their lock-in points. The front, not so much. They just kind of rotate in and out and forward and back. But the back legs definitely have that lock-in point that I was talking about. You can see it's kind of right there. That's its resting position to give it that nice neutral stance. So yeah, not a lot of articulation. The rest of it is obviously tied into the gimmick. They can go in and out. Not really sure what good that does. But yeah, very basic articulation. And of course, the action feature is where you get a little extra with that. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that for you here. So just grab it by the foot there and then, yep, you're off. So yeah, you got a series of sounds. I can't tell how many there are because it's just kind of random going on here. And I'm trying to demonstrate for you both the twisting and the headbutting action. I like that this thing, you can control it through the tail. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a fun gimmick, although it doesn't really do much for an Edmontosaurus because I don't really see this thing as using a headbutt or twisting its head. I think that's better for like the thrashing attack of carnivores or something. I still want to see a Hadrosaur have like a foot running action. And of course the sounds absolutely blow with this Edmontosaurus. It's asinine. I can't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it. None of the other herbivorous roarivores have such blatantly, obviously carnivore sound. Sure, the Triceratops has the T-Rex roar, but that just sneaks its way into everything, I feel like. This is just almost 100% carnivore sounds. Like, there's a straight up Indoraptor in there. I don't understand it. And I don't know why they couldn't just make something up like they made it up for the Pachyrhinosaurus. It totally kills the action gimmick with this Edmontosaurus. It's asinine. It's it makes me so furious. So yeah, action gimmicks on this thing, bit of a bust. As far as the size of it goes, coming in from the tip of the tail to the tip of the snout, you're looking at right around 12 inches, and for all you smart cookies at home, that's about 1 foot or 30.5 centimeters. And from the base all the way to the top of the back of the hips, you're looking at just under 4.5 inches off the ground. So not a bad size on this Edmontosaurus. For size comparison, we're going to go ahead and bring in the Parasaurolophus dual attack, and it's great to be adding more dinosaurs like the Parasaurolophus to the herd. And you can kind of see what I'm talking about in terms of sculptural detail just kind of getting glossed over with the Edmontosaurus. It's much more crisp on that Parasaurolophus in the back there. Next up for size comparison, we're going to go ahead and bring in the casemate Cryolophosaurus. And as you can see, the Cryolophosaurus stands a bit taller than this Edmontosaurus. I will say, in the defense of the Edmontosaurus's sculptural details, it looks a bit less cartoony than the Cryolophosaurus. I don't mind it, the Cryolophosaurus, it's just not my favorite, and I think the Edmontosaurus is a step in the right direction. And of course, we have to compare it to my still favorite Jurassic toy, Carnage the Carnotaurus. And this right here showcases the disparity in detail that I was talking about. Wow! And finally, for Jurassic dinosaur comparisons, we're going to go ahead and bring in the Thrash and Throw Tyrannosaurus Rex. And yeah, the Edmontosaurus should be much bigger compared to Rexy there, but I won't fault it. It's Jurassic, whatever, I'll give them a pass. But yeah, and of course it wouldn't be a Jurassic review unless we brought in our good friend Chris Pratt, who is living out what I think was all of our childhood dreams, which is of course riding some sort of duck-billed dinosaur. Well, it was my dream anyway, screw you. Anywho, for a final comparison, here it is next to the Safari Limited Edmontosaurus. Just kind of an interesting comparison if you don't collect Jurassic and you want to know the size of this thing. I don't have the new Edmontosaurus yet, but hopefully that'd give you a decent idea of what you can expect. Well, there you have it, guys. That is going to do it for our look at the 2020 Primal Attack Mattel Edmontosaurus. So, mixed bag with this one. It was easily my most anticipated figure of the initial releases from Mattel, and of course it was the one that I had to wait for. But now that I have it, it's just kind of there. I like it, don't get me wrong, and I think it's head and shoulders above some of the other Primal Attack offerings this year. Sarcosuchus. But just, yeah, stupid things like the god-awful sounds and the bizarre toe and just kind of the lack of crisp sculptural details definitely cripples this thing overall. All that being said, I will say I still dig this Edmontosaurus. As always, I want to know what you guys think. Do you own it yet? Are you planning to pick it up? What was your favorite Primal Attack release from the initial wave? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments section below. And as always, I hope you enjoyed our review today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay healthy out there. We will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.